Hi guys, today we are going to be doing a full face of makeup, which I feel like I literally haven't done in such a long time. And I don't know, there's something about doing a full face of makeup to me that is just like keeps getting pushed back because I never feel like I have enough new like face products and stuff to really do these kind of videos, and also my palettes always get priority. It's just how it is. If I'm going to film with something, it's always going to be that goes up first. And so for that reason, like I always tend to dig into my new products before I have time to film with them, because otherwise they just end up in a box forever until I actually sit down and film like I'm doing now. So I don't have like a full face of new products, but I do have quite a few new products that I would like to test out with you guys. So I will show you a little bit of the things that we're going to be using. Some aren't like totally new to me. They're not going to be first impressions, but some will be. So the one thing that I haven't used yet is this Beauty Bakerie setting powder. What is this one called? Flower setting powder. So I've heard so many good things about this. I ended up picking it up along with my new Wet n Wild powder in case I don't like it. But I'm very excited to test it out because, like I said, I've heard nothing but really good reviews on that. I also was sent a package from Makeup of Murder with their new pigments. So they came out with like these white and black pigments. I don't really know what I'm going to do with these. So 2 of these are shimmers and 2 of these are mattes. And I'm just sitting here like, how? So we're gonna try to figure out a way to make at least one of these work, maybe. I don't know. I feel like I'm just going to end up using the white kind of shimmery one in my inner corner. I also have the new freckle pen from Lime Crime. This is the darker one in the shade Cocoa, I think. Cocoa. I have a new mascara here from Rodial, which I got in a box. I also want to play with my Estee Lauder Double Wear Light. I posted a picture of this on my Instagram. Go follow me if you're not already. And a lot of you said you wanted to see me use this, but like I said, it's not a first impression. I've been using it, but I still want to give you my thoughts. Also want to play with the Juvia's Place concealer, which I've also talked about in a video in the past. For eyeshadows, we do have a first impression, but unfortunately they are all shimmers. So I made an order. Well, this is a long story, and there should already be a swatch party video up using these, or just swatching them when this video goes up, so I will just link that in the corner. But basically these are the shadows that I have from Touch of Glam Beauty. They are all shimmers, so we're going to be using these along with some other mattes, which I haven't yet decided, but I think we should just go ahead and get into this because it's probably going to be a long video. I also have some lip products, so like I said, we do have some new stuff that I do want to try out. So I'm gonna go ahead and just get my hair out of the way so that we can do a little bit of foundation. So like I was saying with this foundation, this is the Estee Lauder Double Wear Light. Now, I love the Double Wear, like the full coverage foundation, but I've come to realize that, I'm trying to find a brush. I've come to realize that I actually kind of prefer like lower coverage foundations, and I never thought I would say that. So I want to just kind of show you how this applies. I'm not a primer person. I haven't used a primer. I just moisturize a little bit right before starting filming. So that's basically all that's on my face. I'm gonna take a brush like this. I always use brushes for my foundation, you guys. You know that. This is a crown brush, I think. I don't know. It's kind of like flat but dense at the same time. I love this for my foundation. So what I do is I just go boop, 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 like a little bit on my brush here, and then I just kind of start buffing. So you will see the amount of coverage that this has. It's quite light, but I also feel like it covers just enough that I'm okay with this as long as I do a little bit of concealer after. So I always go in very light with my foundation, and I really try to buff it out and use as little product as I can to get the coverage that I want, because I really don't like the feeling of having a ton of, you know, foundation and stuff on my face. I also find that it just breaks down a lot quicker if I use too much product because I do have oily skin. So I do try to go quite light with my foundation, which is why I go in many times here. And I also don't like to build up my foundation. So I'm just going to put on one layer, and then if I feel like I need any more coverage, I'm going to use my concealer for doing that. I will say that one thing that I have noticed with this foundation is that apparently they changed the formula on this. I was reading some reviews on Sephora, and a lot of people said that they were really upset that this isn't how it used to be. So obviously I don't know how it used to be, so I can't compare. But a lot of people were saying that this is extremely hard to blend now, which I do get because it is a little bit hard to work with if you don't work fast. I feel like a sponge would probably work well for blending this out, but then it might take away some of the coverage. But sometimes I feel like if my skin isn't looking great, if I have maybe a little bit of some bumps or like a dry spot, like I have a little patch right here, which I used to have a pimple, and sometimes I find it a little bit hard to get the foundation to stick there. But if you have pretty decent skin. I don't use this on days where I feel like my skin is acting up because, like I said, it is a little bit hard to work with. But man, is the longevity on this just so good. I'm even tempted to buy a darker shade because this is my winter shade. I ended up buying this one in 2N1 and I do really like it because it is sheer. I can get away with using it. I would rather have a foundation that's a little bit too light than a little bit too dark. That's just me, but I am so tempted to actually buy the darker shade in that as well because I just love how long wearing it is. So I'm gonna go in with my concealer. This is the Juvia's Place concealer. I have mine in the shade 19. So I've found that I can't use too much of this under my eyes, which this is probably too much anyway because it really does crease on me. And I also like to put a lot like right over my brows so that I can blend it into my brows. I know this is very strange, but I find that if I don't have a lot of product so that I can set my brows, whatever I go in with brow product wise just don't really stick that well if I haven't really set my brows properly before doing them. Which is why I always do my foundation before I do my brows. I don't understand how people can do their brows without having like any product down first, because to me they just end up slipping around, and like if I accidentally touch my brows or I wear sunglasses, like it'll just like remove everything that I have right in the front here. I also don't have a lot of brows to begin with, so that could also have something to do with that. But I also don't like the look of very shiny brows. I don't know if it's just me, but I find that brows can kind of end up being a bit like wet looking if you don't kind of set that area first. I don't know. I'm probably just being very strange, but just how I feel. And if you couldn't tell, I always put concealer on my nose more so than I do foundation because I feel like foundation never ends up looking that good on my nose and it never stays on my nose. So I always go a lot heavier on my concealer on my nose than I do with my foundation. And I actually think it's a good thing that I've already tried out these base products since I am going to be testing a new powder. That's another reason why I don't really like to do like full face of first impression, because you never end up knowing like what is it that works and what doesn't work if something goes wrong, you know? So I'm gonna go ahead and open this setting powder here. This one is in the shade Oat, which is the translucent one. So here is what the container looks like. It is beautiful. I didn't know it was going to be that pretty. So let's go ahead and set here. I do think I want to use some cream products today, so I'm just gonna go ahead and set under my eyes real quick. So here's what the inside looks like. It's like a half and half, and then you have this side here with the holes in it that is open. So I'm just gonna go ahead and dump some of this into the cap. And I hope that my eye stops watering because it's quite annoying. So I'm gonna grab this brush from Wet n Wild. This is my favorite for setting under my eyes. It's the P65, so I'm just gonna make sure that I don't have any crazy creasing. I mean, I'm always gonna have creases under my eyes because I have lines under my eyes. That's just how it is. So I'm just gonna dip my brush into here and just go ahead and set. I don't really bake, but I do like to press my powder in underneath my eye. But as soon as I'm done, I go ahead and I wipe it off because I don't want it to sit for very long. And I'm also just gonna set my nose because I'm not gonna put any cream products on there yet. And I'm gonna make sure that I really set this area on my brows. Okay, let's go ahead and do some cream bronzer. I'm gonna use my Fenty bronzer just because I feel like it's one of those steps that I sometimes just forget to do, but there's no reason for me not to do it because I have this product and I wanna use it. And it's a great product, so I'm trying to get into the habit of just like always using this, because since I have it and I can still layer other products on top if I want to, I might as well use it, you know? I don't really feel like, I don't know. See, here's the thing with me and cream products. I like them, but I don't feel like I really get that different of a result since I always put powders on top anyway. So like, once I'm done with my powder bronzer and my powder blush on top of my cream products, you can't really tell that I'm wearing cream products anymore. I feel like cream products might be better for people who like to not put powders on top of them. I do think that my makeup lasts better when I do have cream products underneath at least, so that when my powder blush kind of fades away, like you can still see the cream underneath, and that makes my makeup just look better later in the day. But I don't know, I feel like I don't need cream products. It's kind of one of those like, oh, it's fun to have, and it makes me have an excuse to just use more products and more steps on my face, you know? Like I don't feel like I need cream products personally, but they are kind of fun and they are beautiful. They really do look nice on the skin. Let's see, what is next? Should I do some cream blush as well? Let's do that. Let's use another one of the Fenty ones, the only one I have. This one is in the shade Strawberry Drip. I love this. It's such a beautiful blush color. Gonna again go ahead and use a brush here, and I just kind of do this and then I tap it on my cheek where I want it to be. Like, do you see just how smoothly this blends out? And it's the perfect amount of pigmentation. I think it's so beautiful. But since I always do set my face, I do find that the cream products that I put on my face sometimes just looks a little bit more subtle after I do set it, and I just need to set my face because I have such oily skin and I always do my makeup in the morning. It would be one thing if I just did my makeup, you know, to film or for camera or whatever, and I didn't want to wear it for a long period of time, but I really like to wear my makeup because it makes me feel good and it makes me feel pretty, and it also just makes me more productive when I feel good about myself. So I'm just quickly gonna go ahead and set the rest of my face now because we don't, like I said, I can't not set my face. So I'm just gonna take that same powder and kind of start packing this all over my face. I do go quite heavy on my powder because, like I said, I do have oily skin, but I also don't bake. I just make sure that I pack it on and then I just kind of swipe it off right away. And I also find that by packing the powder on first, you really set down those creams and you're not moving them around and getting your foundation all patchy if you just go in and like do this when you have powder on your brush. So I do think that this powder container is a little bit annoying with like the divide in the middle, because now I want to go and put back the powder that I have in here and it's just going to get all over the cap, even on the side where there's no holes. Like, I don't really understand why there's not just holes all over it. Can I like twist this thing in the middle? Oh, I guess you can twist it so you can like close it off if you want, but why would I do that when there's a lid on it? I don't know. I just prefer there to be holes on the whole thing. So I'm gonna quickly do my brows because I don't have anything new for that, and I also find it to be so tedious and so boring, so I'll be right back. Honestly, one of the main reasons why I love to have bangs is because it really takes the attention away from my eyebrows, because I hate doing them. I hate spending time on them. It's not a skill that I really want to like, I don't know, improve that much on because I just don't really care. Let's see, what should we do next? Should we do eyeshadow? This is usually the point where I start filming normally when I'm done with all of these steps. So I think we should do eyeshadow and then let's do some bronzer first though, because it doesn't matter what I use for that. I'm gonna use my mini Hourglass bronzer. This one is in the shade Diffused Light. And I like to use my referral number 18 brush for that. It's kind of like a small, it's hard to explain, but you can see the shape of it. I just really like how precise I can be because, I don't know, I just like to use smaller brushes for everything. I don't understand how some people can use brushes like the size of their face to bronze with. I'm like, I don't want my bronzer to go all over my face. I want my bronzer to go where I want it to go, you know? Like, I don't know, maybe I'm just being very specific with the placement of my bronzer, but to me a bronzer is not a setting powder. It's not an all over the face kind of thing. So like I said, I just prefer to have smaller brushes for that. And this bronzer is great because it's so easy to work with and it's so hard for me to like go overboard, but it's also quite buildable. So I really like how that looks now. Should we do some freckles next? Is that what I want to do? I think we're gonna go ahead and do some freckles before I forget. So I'm gonna open this up. Now this is going to be exactly the same as the other one that I already own, if I can find that one. So here they are side by side. Packaging is exactly the same. I'm gonna go ahead and just swatch them out so you can see. So this is the shade Amber that I've been using in the past. Here's what that color looks like. I will show you some close-ups when I've swatched them both side by side, but this is the new one. This is in the shade Cocoa. So there's not that much of a difference. I feel like it's a little bit more cool tone than the other one, but I really feel like mixing these two is going to end up giving me a really, really nice result. So I think I'm gonna start off by using the shade Cocoa and just kind of see like how this one looks on the skin. Okay, so it is definitely a lot darker. So I'm gonna be kind of light-handed with this. And then I'm gonna go in with the other shade as well and put in a little dots in between here. I also find the tip on this to be a lot just stiffer, so the freckles ends up being a lot more like noticeable and even in size, which I don't know if I love that. It could also just be that I've kind of worn out the other one a little bit, so it's gotten a lot softer on the tip. So I'm not sure how well you can really see these. Let me zoom in a little bit. I don't usually zoom in, but let me see if that's better. That's very, very dark now. Hang on just a sec. Oh, that's too bright. Okay, let's try that. So I'm gonna next go in with the shade Amber, and we're just gonna see like how big the difference is here. Now I do need to just wipe off the tip on this, and then we're gonna just see if I can see much of a difference. Yeah, I can definitely see a difference in the color of these two. And like I said before, I feel like the first one that I used, it's probably just because it's newer, but I feel like the dots are very prominent. And it's just like, it's more pigmented, there's more coming out of the tube. But again, like I said, it's probably just because it's new. So we are gonna be very freckly today, but not mad at it. I think it looks really, really cute. Now let's move on to eyes. I'm going to use my NARS Smudge Proof Eyeshadow Primer today because I just want to use it. And then I think I'm probably going to use my Musee Beauty Impressionism Palette for my matte shadows, and then we can play with some of these shadows from Touch of Glam, which I'm very, very excited about, because if you saw my swatch video with those, you will know how beautiful a lot of those are. So I can't wait to put some of them on my eyes. So let's take a look and see which ones it is that I want to use today, because obviously I can't use them all on my eyes. This one I swatched and it is so freaking beautiful. Like, I literally have no words. I think I need to play with this one, and maybe I'll pick one more shimmer as well. Let's see, what about this one? They're kind of similar. I'm gonna wipe that off my finger. What about this one? Ooh, those could be quite pretty together. I mean, I do want to use this one as well, but this is a multi-chrome, even though you can't really see the shift in it that well. So I wouldn't say it's as good as my Cliona multi-chromes. I don't know, you guys. I'm tempted to just like slap that thing all over my lid, maybe with a little bit of this blue as well. Was it this one that I swatched? I think it was. I think we're gonna use these two. And then let's take a look in the Impressionism palette and see which mattes it is that I want to use with this. Like, I feel like this brown could look so pretty with these two. Maybe even the magenta shade. Let me think about this for a little bit. So I think what I want to do is I want to put the green here in the inner portion of my crease, and then on the outer portion I think I want to use the brown, and I think that's going to be my crease. So it's going to be kind of like a neutral crease, but I really, really want these shimmers to be able to shine, so I don't want to take away from that. So I'm just going to kind of breeze through like my crease part, because these aren't new shadows and it's not like a new technique or anything like that. So I'll let you watch me do the crease, and then we can move on to the shimmers after, so that this video doesn't end up being like 45 minutes long.
I'm trying to stay focused, but somehow all I can think of is when you split. I gotta find the motive, play forward, watch every sequence bit by bit, 'cause this is my own investigation. I am obsessed with finding out why you left. I keep on searching for the missing pieces, try to find the reason why I ended up without you, baby. I got about a million leads to find the answer why you left me in the cold. I'm turning every stone like a detective. What's your objective? I guess I'm addicted. I need to know why you rejected me. Like a detective. What's your objective? I guess I'm addicted. I need to know why you rejected me. I'm lying awake in our bed while staring holes in the ceiling. I got no clues. You played a trick in my head.
Freaking love this palette. I can't help it. It is so good. So for my lid, I'm gonna start off by taking some of my NYX glitter primer, and I'm going to do a bit of a faux cut crease with this, and then I'm gonna start by putting the kind of bluish shade on the outer portion of my lid and kind of layer it over that brown that I put down. And I think that those are going to look beautiful, layered over the top of each other. So I'm gonna start with this one. This one is called Pandora's Box. This might end up looking a little bit lighter on the eyes than it does in the pan, but let's go ahead and try this. I'm gonna mostly focus that in the middle part of my lid. And I'm going in quite slowly with this because it is a very small brush, but that looks so beautiful. Ooh, I really like the texture of that. It's got like little glitter particles in it, and they all look to be different colors. Like now I almost wish that I could just slap this one all over my lid. You know what? I'm gonna go in with a bit of a bigger brush here. Just want something that's gonna pick up a little bit more of that shadow. And I'm gonna just blend it out in the outer corner of my eye here like I always do. This is so pretty. Oh yeah, I really like that. And I'm then gonna go into the next shadow, which is the one I'm the most excited about. This is like one of the most mind-blowing shadows that I've ever swatched. This one is called The Second, and it's one of their translucent pastel multi-chromes. It's what it says at least, so let's go ahead and try this on the eyes. So this picks up beautifully on my brush. I am literally so excited. I feel like I'm gonna gasp once this is on my eyes. Wow. Oh my god. Oh, that's so beautiful. What is this magic? Oh my god. Oh, do you guys see now why I complain about shimmers not being like as good as I want them to be a lot of the time? Because freaking indie brands, I'm telling you, they just kill it. Like, oh, it looks so good. This just makes me so happy. Like, I'm gonna have the best day today just because I'm wearing such bright eyeshadows. Oh, I just love this. Makeup makes me so happy. Shit, I cannot stop staring at that. I really hope the camera does this justice. Oh, it's so beautiful. Okay, I'm speechless. I got nothing. Bye, guys. Oh, I love that. Okay, let's do some inner corner highlight. I want to use one of these Makeup and Murder pigments. I'm gonna go ahead and use the shimmery one. So here's what they look like. If you haven't seen these, I do have all of their pastel pigments and neon pigments. The packaging is so cute, but it is very, very messy. So let me go ahead and just kind of screw this one open. I have opened it just because I wanted to see it before I started. I gotta be very careful with this. I'm just gonna grab a little bit of this from the cap here and give you a swatch. So it's basically just like a kind of white shimmer, but I feel like it shears out and could probably be used as a highlighter if you are very fair or you like something very icy, which I don't really like icy highlighter, so I'm not going to use it as a highlighter, but I am going to use it in my inner corner. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab my brush here, my pencil, did you see that? It's just flying everywhere, and grab some of what is on here, and then I'm going to spray this because I do not want any fallout. And we're gonna go ahead and see what I can get out of this. I'm expecting this to be extremely white looking and intense. So I need a little bit more of that, I think. Like, I really feel like these kind of pigments is great for people who like to do more artistic makeup and maybe like to use mixing mediums and stuff like that and make graphical liners and all kinds of artistic stuff. Personally, like a black and white pigment isn't something that I feel like I would really know what to do with, that I can't do with what I already own, you know? So I am thankful that they sent them to me, but I can't really, I don't know, I'm confused. Let me know, what would you guys do with a product like this? I mean, like, that is beautiful. You can't deny that. I just feel like I have similar things in a pressed form that are so much easier to use that it's hard for me to justify like pulling out a product like this when I have something that's easier to use. I'm just gonna take a little bit more of that lid shade and just make sure that these two are kind of blended together. I just cannot get over this shadow. It is one of the most beautiful things that I've ever put on my face. Oh, I'm just so mesmerized. It's got so many different colors and shifts to it. Both of these colors are stunning. Oh, I'm just so happy with this look. I'm gonna pop something in my waterline. And I think I'm gonna use a little bit of blue because I feel like there's like hints of blue on my lid, so I'm gonna use this one from Lethal. This is in the shade Analog. It's one of their gel liners. Cannot stop using these. I can't see myself going back to like normal eyeliners if I have a color that I want to use in these because they're just so good. Like the only thing that sucks a little bit is that I have to use a brush every time I use them, which is not really a big deal. I mean, it's worth it. Oh, but just look at that color payoff. It's just... they're so good, and they just last in the waterline beautifully too. And they also don't irritate my eyes, which is great. I mean, unless I poke myself in the eye trying to get it in there, I'm usually fine. Okay, let me do a little bit of liquid liner. This is my DHC liquid liner, which I absolutely love. I'm just gonna do a line on top of my lid.
Missing pieces, try to find the reason why I ended up without you, baby. I got about 1 million leads to find the answer why you left me in the cold.
And then let's go ahead and try out this new mascara. So this is the Mascara XXL from Rodial, like I said. I'm gonna go ahead and open this. I haven't even looked at the wand because I didn't want to open it when I first got it because I didn't want it to, you know, start going bad. So the packaging feels quite cheap. I know this is a very expensive mascara. It was like $29. So I don't like this wand. It's one of those like very, very large fluffy wands, which is not my favorite. I definitely prefer the spiky plasticky wands, which I know most people don't like those. So I'm probably in the minority there, but I am going to curl my lashes because I always do that. And then let's see how this mascara is going to do. Now, I am so picky with my mascaras. You guys probably know that. And I also don't really like to judge a mascara on the first time I use it because a lot of the time mascaras will need like a week or so to dry to the perfect consistency. This one doesn't seem to be too wet though, which I do prefer a mascara that is on the wetter side because I just find that it gets perfect after a couple of weeks. And I mean, this mascara is really not doing much of anything for me, if I'm being honest. I am such a mascara snob that it takes so much for me to be impressed by a mascara. And the wand on this is just too big for my liking. I can't help it. Like, it doesn't do a very good job at separating my lashes. And I'm also not really seeing a lot of length. I'm seeing a little bit of volume, but I mean, that's pretty much it. Like, I don't know. This is not good enough. I'm gonna go in with my Bad Gal Bang and fix this because I like my lashes to look a certain way, and I know that the only way to do that is to use my Bad Gal Bang because it just lengthens my lashes and separates them so nicely. And I just feel like I have so much control over what it is that I'm trying to do. Like, do you see how big of a difference that made? I don't know if you can see it on camera, but like, these lashes look so much better. Like, these are like my little baby lashes. And then when I put on my Bad Gal Bang, it's like, ah, you know, it just, angels are singing. I can't help it. It just makes the biggest difference. And I just love how the wand on this one is so small that I can use it on my lower lashes as well, so I don't need two different mascaras, whereas if I had used this one, there's no way I'd be able to get in on my lower lashes with this without making a complete mess. Let's do some blush. I think it's time for blush. What do I want to use? I'm thinking something pink. And by pink, I mean very pink. So I'm going to use this one from Lancome. I did get this in from Octoly. It's in the shade Blush For You. I don't know why I feel like pink is just gonna go with this look, but I don't know. I feel like I have cool tones on my eyes, and so a cool tone blush is just going to go with this, you know? And I think that's a good choice. I think that looks really, really nice. Quickly just gonna go over everything with my powder brush to make sure everything is nice and blended. Honestly, I love how my makeup looks right now. I think this looks beautiful. So since I don't have anything new for my highlighter today, I'm going to use Solar Sailor by Kaleidos. I love this. It's such a beautiful yellow highlighter. Just think it's going to go really well with this look. And isn't that funny how I said I wanted a cool tone blush because I have cool tones on my face? Well, a yellow highlighter is not really cool tone, but I just really love how yellow looks with everything. I can't help it. I'm a sucker for a yellow highlighter. That got quite out of hand. I'm gonna go back in with my blush brush and just make sure that I tone that down a little bit. So I know I said I had some new lip products as well. I'm not sure if they're gonna go with this look though. I have this one from MAC. This is in the shade, what are you called? Mer? M-E-H-R? What does that mean? I mean, it's a nude. I feel like it could probably go with this look. I'm gonna go ahead and put it on and then we can see. I do also have a gloss here that I could maybe top this with. So I love the color of this. It's beautiful, and MAC has one of my absolute favorite lipstick formulas. I know they're very old school and not a lot of people talk about them anymore, but I freaking love them. I want their whole line. I just wish that they had a little bit more kind of cool tone nudes as well. I haven't really found any that I like, but I feel like this is okay with the look. I'm trying to kind of look in the mirror and the viewfinder and see what I feel, but I mean, it's not perfect. It's probably not what I would have chosen, but I still think that I can get away with wearing this and not have to change it. So I'm just gonna leave it on. I don't think I want to use this gloss on top because it's just not the right color for that. So yeah, let me know how you feel about these kind of videos. Do you want me to do more full face videos? I know that because I review so many things, it's very hard for me to feel like I can pull in eyeshadow reviews into a full face of makeup video, because a lot of people who are searching for reviews on the eyeshadow palette just want a review on the eyeshadow palette. So it's kind of tough for me to like find room for these unless I put new products, like new eyeshadows, into these videos. Let me know how you feel about that. I definitely would like to do more full face of makeup videos if you guys want to watch them, but I also have to make sure that, you know, the views kind of make up for the time it takes for me to film and edit these, because they are going to be more time consuming, but they are super fun to do and I love watching them from other people. So let me know your thoughts down below. Also, let me know if you tried any of these things and if you have the same thoughts that I do. Have you tried Touch of Glam Beauty? Because this eyeshadow, you guys, I just can't. It's so beautiful. So that's gonna be it for my trying some new makeup and just doing a full face of makeup. Thank you so much for watching. As always, if you want to see some other videos that I have on my channel, here's a few more. And if you're new, I would love it if you would consider subscribing, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.